Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Public Works Podcast. My name is Joseph Blackman. Today, I got a real treat for you. His name is Travis Fisher, and he is the Wastewater Collections Supervisor of Simi Valley in beautiful California. Travis, say what's up to everybody.
Thanks for having me, Joseph.
For sure, man. For sure. I'm creeping around your office, man. I like to kind of creep what's going on. You got a whole bunch of Dodger bobbleheads there, man. I like it. How often do you make it to Dodger games?
I try to make it at least, well, for sure, at least once, but I like to say 4 or 5 games.
Gotcha. Did you go to the World Series games?
No, too expensive.
Aren't they crazy, man?
Oh, yeah.
But one thing that really intrigues me is I see a Canon. I see the AE1 over there. Yeah, you a photographer?
I do a little recreational photography, and then I have, there you go, a little Nikon as well. But yeah, I do
okay.
film ones, so yeah. But
yeah,
I like to do some photography at times. Yeah,
I like it, man. I like it. So you're the Wastewater Collection Supervisor. Give us the daily for Travis on a random Tuesday. What are you doing from the time you get to the office to the time you leave?
Sure. So usually now it's, scheduling, seeing what the guys are doing for the day, see where they're at, work orders, sending them out, having them go out what's needed, what if we have anything that's more pending, urgent than other day for the guys going out, camera crew, sending them out if there's anything special that needs to be filmed that day that's not a normal work, that's already on the work orders and they're out there doing. So we send those out, and then during the day, I'll take calls from either the public has maybe a complaint, odor complaint, or the asphalt around the manholes broken, so kind of stuff like that, to reviewing the camera videos, to right now working on budget, to what else, trying budget, and then just different storylines, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just working.
Yeah,
and they go out in the field and check on them, make sure they're doing their job, and keeping making sure they're all good, and listening to what they have their issues and what you need assistance for, and try to take care of that. And then a lot of times too is taking care of guys with the family issues, something going on, right?
Yeah.
Like we have a couple of that going on right now. So
yeah. So you're like the HR, the supervisor, all that in one. Isn't it weird when somebody asks you, like, what do you do all day? You kind of got to think, like, I've been doing what I've done all day for the last so many years, and like I still don't know what I do all day. You got to
it changes every day. Yeah, just priority changes all day long.
Sure.
You're going to do this, the next thing you're.
Yeah. How much time do you like? What's the breakdown? Is it like 20% on Zoom calls, 30% on emails, and the rest of the 50% out in the field? Like, what's what's the breakdown of like in out on the computer and stuff?
Yeah, I guess it all varies different times of the year. A lot of emails, a lot of writing reports, like working on the SSMP right now, just got that. My boss wants me to work on that now. So
yeah.
So I'm like, all right, updating on that. And then so there's going to be a lot of more computer time there, not as much time in the field. But the percentage wise, meeting or two, I'd say probably like a meeting every day, so hour, so not a huge amount. Some cities a little bit more, right? But not too much. Probably going forward pretty soon we'll have more. There's a couple more projects starting, so that.
You talked about getting calls from the public. What does that look like? Like, is it you block out from 10 to 1, on Tuesdays, you're going to, call the people back who left a message about a smell complaint or a manhole that's loose in front of their home. Like,
Right.
how does that work?
I like trying to knock that out first. So if I get the call, like sometimes it either comes from like the front office and they'll have an email saying it. And then I just text one of the guys, crews where I think they are like closest to it. And I'm like, hey, go check that out, see what it is. And then, respond to it. Sometimes I'll go out there with some asphalt, or I'll go check the odor because I don't want to bother the crews. I want them to get the production done, so I'll just go out there. But I'm kind of more, I want to get those done. I like to procrastinate, but that's one of the things I don't like to procrastinate in, because I don't want to be left up like, why didn't you do that yesterday and then forget. So I try to put that on the top of my list.
Gotcha.
I'm not for people like waiting a day or two to respond. I'm like,
totally.
As soon as I get it, I want it done.
Good stuff.
Plus it makes the city look better, right? When the customer,
the
homeowners out there are like, wow, I didn't expect you guys already.
Yeah. So they're like, wow, you guys are fast. Yeah. Give us the kind of the career background for Travis. We know you didn't pop up yesterday at this, this position. So give us from high school, kind of what's your career path all the way up until today. And the reason why I ask this question is because there might be somebody listening to this who wants to emulate your career path to get to where you're at. So give us the kind of the details on how you got to where you're at.
Yeah, sure. Well, I made plenty of mistakes throughout the years. But right out of high school, I joined the Navy. So I became like a welder in the Navy. So that was fun. When aircraft carrier, traveled the world, learned project management at the end, went into project management. So with the big projects. And then from there, I went to college out of the Navy, did 4 years, and then went to college. Okay. Tried to get out of like hard labor work. I'm like, I'm going to go do marketing or advertising or something. Yeah. And it was fun. I enjoyed it a little bit, but there's so many people that were trying to do it. It didn't seem like it's really not a good paying job, right? And then I also worked in the skate industry for a little bit. So worked
the skate industry.
Yeah, like Pal Peralta, worked for them for a little bit.
Okay.
Skateboards. So yeah,
okay, nice.
I was trying to finish my dream. I actually owned a skate shop too for a little while.
Nice.
But overall, like the work, I went into construction after college, house construction, and then worked for some big builders, and then also some private custom home ones. So doing custom homes in the coast, Santa Barbara to, track homes throughout Southern California.
Yeah.
And then during the last recession, was laid off like all of us in the home construction and got into the public works. And I luckily landed at Ojai Valley Sanitary District, who were like a small organization that, and actually our GM at the time was a old CEO president of one of the larger builders in the country. And so he had that fast paced go mentality, not a normal city worker mentality. I mean, so it was nice and like just ran right.
Yeah.
Moving forward, and then through the years I joined CWEA and started volunteering through there. I started with the Gimmicks and Gadgets Award. I wasn't like volunteering yet, but like I made a little gadget and somebody's like, oh, you should put it in, there's some money, and I'm like, oh, I love money, so I put it in and I won, and then that helped me get more interested and then volunteering and then became on the board member for the tri-counties, and then now just ending my time as the collections shares for the state CWEA.
Okay, what was the gadget that you invented?
It was like a reel, like a reel that went on a bumper hitch hand.
Okay. Yeah.
Cables. We were doing the pipe patching kit, the CIPP pipe patching kits from Source One, and moving it through. And there's the cables pulling it through. One side we had a wheel, but anyways, we put another one to have on the camera truck, so it's easier to pull it back when it was just easier. It was not the greatest thing in the world, but a little,
Yeah, no. And those, it's funny, those I've been on plenty, out the field with plenty of crews, and you can see some of the little things they do just to operate more efficiently. And I'm like, dude, this is pretty cool. Like, A, the manufacturers should know about this, and B, like, the rest of the crews that are, the surrounding cities should know about this too, so they can operate more efficiently.
Right. Yeah. I've given a couple things for different operators, like different truck on like GAPVACs. I was like, hey, what about this or this? And then like next, not on ours, but they either implement it later on ours or on new ones coming out that has this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I was the only one complaining about it, but
totally. Like coming from selling trucks, like these trucks are designed by engineers who engineer trucks, not by operators. Right. So it's like we have to give them the feedback of like, hey, you guys keep putting the pump on this side of the truck. Like nobody wants to change out the filters on the pump because it's like on the street side or it's like awkward to get to. Like stop designing it that way.
Yeah. So like on like when we bought a GAPVAC, I want to say in like, what was that, 14, 15? And the old one where you'd like pull the hose to the little hooks.
Yep.
On the reel guide, and then but the Vactor has the little black rollers. So I took the Vactor rollers and I created and I welded it and hooked them up into this other piece, and then I could put that in and take the GAPVAC one out. So we used. And it was like, oh, perfect. And then GAPVAC later came out with their own new actual rollers instead of the old school like eye hook.
Right, right. It saves you like, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes per setup, and just think of how many setups you do a year. Like that,
Oh yeah.
that helps you be more efficient. Give us the kind of like, I would say, the 30,000 foot view of what a win would look like for you. Like, what would like, let's say we end up the year, how would you get your pat on the back? Is it like hitting the amount of sewer lines you're supposed to, footage you're supposed to do, cameraing, or like, what, like, how do you know you're doing a good job, if that makes sense?
Right. So I mean, I think on that marker, mine is always like, you want to have 0 spills, right? 0 SSOs. That's the goal. I don't,
Okay.
no matter what size. Obviously, like if you're, coming from going to a city with a lot of, even huge amount of miles, obviously you're going to have some spills, and the number is to reduce it down as low as you can. So, to me, his goal is always lower than last year. Maybe
Sure.
and overall goal for me is 0. The rest of
Yeah.
the time is like the crew is happy. And so, the crew's happy, and I can take care of them the best that I can through the constraints of, the agency you work for.
Yeah.
If they're happy and they want to work and show up every day, then I think that's a win, So to me, it's taking care of the guys, and then they take care of everything else. So
What's tactically, because again, I know crews, and there's usually different like generations, there's different races, there's different
right.
like the crews can be a whole, like, I would say, different makeup than the next crew. So
Right.
what are some best practices to make sure everybody's happy, like, with who they are?
Yeah, it's just like treating them like, one, they're all adults. We're not, like, I'm not a military style, like, in the sense of like yelling and all that, where you think of boot camp style. That's not me. I guess one story I'll do real quick is when I was in the planning department, and we're all sitting in an office, working in an office, and like, you'd say, Fisher, go take out the trash, and I'm like, we were just goofing off a second ago. I know you're my boss, but like, you could just say, hey, Travis, can you take the trash out? Right.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm going to take the trash
Little
out.
thing. Yeah.
But just, if you ask, I'll do it right away. But if you tell me, I'm going to take an hour to get the trash out.
Totally.
So it's just like, treating people how they want to be treated, how you'd want to be treated. Understanding certain things. Just working with them, but at the same time, making sure you're not too close where they take advantage of you, right? Because if you're too close, then they're taking advantage. So there's that point where you gotta back off and look and see where they're taking advantage. Maybe put your foot down once in a while on certain things, But it's every day it changes, right? That But like I said, overall, if you treat everybody well, and then make it all seem fair to everybody, they're always going to complain, right? Because
that's human nature. We always complain.
It's human nature. So it's just making them the best, and that they're happy and they're there and they're showing up.
Yeah.
That's
okay. Okay. All right. What would you say is the main skill set you would tell somebody to pick up to be successful at what you currently do? What would that skill set be?
I always just say grit and attitude.
Okay.
So if you have the attitude to get it done and the grit to keep doing it, that's going to take you the farthest if you're happy about doing it, and then showing the enthusiasm to do it. When somebody says, hey, I need you to go clean that line, you're like, all right, no problem, and get in the truck and go clean it, instead of like complaining, like, oh, why do I have to clean it? It's more like they're happy. So, like enthusiasm, and then grit, like the world's not easy, life's not easy. So you can just grit through it. Like, that's going to, at the end of the day, if you're there and they see bosses see you there they're knowing that you're somebody to be counted on, and that's going to help you. Everything else comes, right? It's just the grit, and like, so yeah.
Okay.
I like to learn how to be what was it, uncomfortable, learn how to be uncomfortable. So like, that's the only way you grow, is if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. So
that's true. That is true. All right, I need a story from Travis when something went wrong under your watch, what you did to fix it, and then what lessons you learned from it to apply to your future career.
Yes. One for lesson I learned, I don't know, but the biggest thing one of the biggest things I've done, probably too many, but we had a new private sewer lateral program that I was in charge of, and it's like where the homeowners would sell their house and they'd have their lateral inspected by a plumber, but I would be there with them inspecting it. And I failed this property. It was Orangeburg, and the pipe was so badly you couldn't see anything. And the plumber asked me, hey, can I run it straight here instead of over to the side and down? And I'm like, I don't care how you run it. as long as it gets from point A to point B. Anyways, so they ended up, it was a shared lateral with another house, and they cut that other person's sewer line off. And so the other house flooded because they left, and like it didn't have much of a line, and the washing machine flooded out the laundry room. So I had to end up fixing it because it was kind of fell on me for saying whatever, even though it wasn't fully, but I just said it's fine. I wasn't like, we'll take some responsibility here. And they like that contractor that did it, he did it for super cheap, like cost, he didn't add anything. So he worked and said, I get it, but I can't afford, all that. So we just worked together and I paid the bill. So I learned, think a little bit. I don't know what I totally learned. It's a good story.
But the reason why I ask those questions is because somebody else might be dealing with that same situation. They might be out there with the contractor, and they're tired of being the stickler or whatever. They just want the job done. They're like, just figure it out. And they might think twice this time and say, you know what?
Right.
No, let's take our time. Let's do it right, so we don't have to do it again or have to cost anybody.
We did look at the video again, and you couldn't see the other connection, the shared lateral connection. So it was such bad shape you couldn't see it.
Wow.
But obviously there was a reason that it was there, and they shouldn't have been connected anymore. Long stories from other stuff that had happened in the past. They were supposed to have abandoned it, but got it taken care of, made the people happy, and kept them all. It cost some money, but it wasn't terrible. Right.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So what does Travis do for personal and professional development? Like, how do you keep showing up better and better year after year?
Yeah, I just like to, read a lot, different management, different styles, what's going on, listen to people talk, I guess on podcasts, and then just keep working on, studying certifications, so working on certs and then helping the guys get certified. So you kind of get that as well. And, learning certs. So I guess that's basically every day trying to learn something new or experience something different.
Okay. Good stuff.
Learning.
You spoke on CWEA. I make it to the CWEA, the annual conferences. I mean, I feel like it's a great organization. What do you say to those who are on the fence? They might be new in the career, new in the field, and they're like, why should I join an association? Like, what do you say to get them off the fence to join up?
Easy one is pay, right? Most cities already and agencies pay for a 1 and 2 certification. So, as you come in as a collections worker, a trainee, to get a pay raise, you need a 1 or a 2, right? So you get your cert. So if you're certified, you get more pay. The more certifications you have, the more advanced opportunities you have through that organization or another to grow yourself.
Gotcha.
The certifications that'll lead to more things, right? Because a lot of certs for supervisors, they want a 3 and 4, grade 3 and 4. So the more higher level you go, the more opportunities are going to be,
Sure.
Certifications, and you get to meet people and meet people from different organizations and potentially mix. I forgot the word just now, but meet people. Networking. Thank you. There. That's
what would you say to those out there? Like, what would you attribute to you for, I guess, always landing on your feet, moving from city to city? Like, how can one navigate going from, because sometimes you can't keep progressing in the same city. There might be politics involved. You might be a 2, you can't get your 3 yet, but you can go to a different city and be a 2 and still make more. Like, what's the thought process of navigating that whole conundrum?
I think everybody, what's best for their situation. I recently did bet on myself and left where I was at for 13 years to come here. Did take a pay cut, but I was gambling myself that I could move forward and get and grow. So I took that opportunity where, my old place, there was lots of growth opportunity. So here at this place to grow, and hopefully it happens. And, so yeah, just bet on myself. Yeah. Hopefully other people should bet on themselves.
Dude, I love that, man. As one who bet on myself, I love it. All right, let's say you're at a dinner party and somebody asks you, Travis, what do you do? We always get that question when you're around strangers, like, what do you do? And you tell them what you do, but what do you think they think after you tell them what you do? Like, what are some of the biggest misconceptions?
Well, first one would always be, when you tell them you work with sewer, they get disgusted and grossed out. I guess my biggest thing is, like these guys are working on the machines are operating machines that are $750,000. They're, cleaning the lines. They're getting close actually now to $1 million because I just saw a price for like fully loaded one for 9 something.
No way. Is it
Yeah,
or something or
27-inch blower and everything.
yeah.
On a all chromed out truck, right? $900,000.
It's crazy.
And then CCTV trucks and the robots, that's also kind of gets them, with the robots. We talk about, running sewer cameras through it. But yeah, there's all the new technology and AI is coming in. So you can, you kind of lead them in a different way, like where they not just about touching, dookie. So,
Yeah.
but it all depends. I mean, people from certain regions of the world, if you're talking to them, like, then they even look down at you as like you're a whole different class of people, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So you're trying to, so that kind of, it's going to be hard to change their minds. But overall, proud what, we do. I love being in the streets. I mean, I'm not the only one. There's plenty out there, but it is pretty people like kind of twist, like turn their head like surprised when, like when I was just a collections worker one and I had a college degree.
Yeah.
They're like, what are you doing out here?
Yeah.
You should be in an office or something. It's like learning the trade, learning something, taking pride in it. Like I fell in love with the collections, like, worked in different things, but being a collection worker, I was probably, most proud I've been,
Yeah. Okay.
Care for the industry and we wanted to promote it and do good with it. So.
Gotcha. And now being a supervisor, I'm sure you get to see a lot of what new technologies are out there, the AIs, the $900,000 trucks. How do you what's your process on making sure, whatever you're buying is right for your employees and also right for the community? Because I'm sure, there's 30 AIs that are in public works that could work for what you do, but how do you decipher which one you want to actually pull the trigger on?
Yeah. I don't necessarily think like AI for CCTV is fully there yet and cost savings. Maybe if you had like a city of Houston with 30 plus trucks and then, the you don't have to have that much QA anymore, all that extra staffing of that and maybe getting all the production done. But a small city, it's still pretty hard to accept that price per, foot, like $1.25 a foot, and you're still videoing. So how much are you, so the AI is going to code as you drive through and now you don't have to stop and code, but how many feet are you going to improve, right?
Yeah. For the amount you pay for. Yeah.
Right. 1,000 feet a day going to improve over the cost, as it equal out. So that's, I don't think it's there yet on that part.
Sure.
But maybe as a contractor it is, right? Just but as a city, it might not be.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And what would you say people normally not know about what you do? Like, let's say you you're on a reality TV show and you got like camera crew following you around. What would be the most fun to watch, the juiciest, most drama reality part of your day, week, or year that people will want to see, like the public will want to see?
Yeah, I love emergencies. I love spills.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want them to happen, but I do love them. Like they kind of pump me up. I get super excited. I've had to learn how to taper my excitement. Yeah. But I don't know if that's like sports as a kid or like the military. And
you're a skateboarder, man. Like, come on.
Yeah, there you go. But I love when like emergencies happen. I love taking charge.
Yeah. Let's say your phone rings right now. A resident says, "Hey, man, there's this manhole in the middle of my street, and there's a whole bunch of brown water coming out of it, and toilet paper." Like, boom, what are you doing? Walk me through it.
Well, so I'm probably first. I'm just I'm finishing the conversation with that homeowner, getting as much information as I can and a callback number so I can call him for later for some stuff, and then I'm calling the crew lead, see where get them out, and then either he's starting to call other crews, and I might call the camera crew, get out there as well. So we're just trying to all get out there, what we have going on, right? Like we're all the trucks. Yeah. What we can do, get out there, because I want to bring all forces out there as much as we have. We have 2 combos and 1 jetter. Nice. So I like to get as much, because if I can work and hit it with one with the truck, trying to unplug it and vacuum on another manhole that's leaking, where it's spilling, so it's less spillage, right? So all that kind of thing, just work as much as you can. Maybe it's going into a storm drain, so another crew there,
Yeah.
whatever it can be, and then have the camera crew ready and assisting, and I just and then making the decisions out in the field. So
Yeah.
but that's my excitement. But yeah.
See, I'm biased, but I totally think that, like, they have Chicago Fire and Chicago PD.
Right.
Like, they could definitely have a Chicago Public Works, because who wouldn't want to see that in action? Like, all of a sudden there's a spill, and like the TV show is about the Public Works crew, assembling all the troops and all the, just getting it done. Yeah.
Yeah. When fire departments are called, they're always happy when we show up because they don't want to touch it. They're like, we just wanted to they'll just close the street off. They're all, thank God somebody's out here.
Wow, good old first responders, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it'd be exciting and fun. And then it's a little bit of dirty jobs, right? Like micro, manhole entries and calling in manholes and confined spaces and pump stations. So
yeah.
I so like it. The getting dirty, I kind of like, and shocking people, I guess.
Yeah. What would you say, to get the newer generation into the industry? Most cities are dealing with guys who are of age. They're retiring in the next couple of years. They got all the institutionalized knowledge. They need to pass it on to the youngsters coming in. What have you seen that's worked in regards to getting that institutionalized knowledge to the next generation, and also finding them and bringing them in?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's getting probably harder and harder, right? There's less and less guys that have been doing it for 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
But like the certain city colleges that have the water science classes.
Okay.
And sometimes you see that. I don't have that, but I know like the city of Ventura has a lot of kids that are trying to work there that went to their water science department. So they have some basics of what collections is, and then cities are going to those classes and saying, hey, here's our truck, here's our our Vector or our Gap Vac, so here's our CCTV truck. And people are like, wow, you can operate this. And then you kind of tell them what the money is. And they're like, wow. And, they're like, well, this is better than construction, working out. And it's, like it's more guaranteed money in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Than the construction. If it rains, we're still working here at the city.
True.
If it's raining and you're working construction, you're sitting at home.
Yeah.
So, there's, I guess that looking at that, a lot of places, I don't know, like when I was at Ojai, we didn't really have a recruiting problem for anything. And then here at Simi, we do, but in the collection side, we're good. We have a lot of we get a lot of trainees though. And it's just the older guys training them and, teaching them the ropes,
Why would it be, I guess, a hiring or finding talent at one agency and not the next, if they're kind of close to proximity?
Sometimes benefits or pay a smaller community, right? Like a lot of times you want like where I worked before was a small little community, so you had a lot of kids that are like in their early 20s that they look at that as like, oh, that's a good career. I see them driving around town all the time.
Yeah.
You drive by their office, they seem like they're all doing well, and it's something they want to do if they weren't in the full college gear or they did the JC and they're working, so they get to see it. So it's where I think a lot of times when you live or work in a bigger city, you don't necessarily see the trucks all the time, right? Like if you're in a town of 100,000 people, you're rarely going to see a big combo truck rolling down the street, and you're not having any idea what they're doing.
That's
but
true.
You're in a small little town with 5,000 people, and it's 100 miles of sewer. You're gonna see them all the time.
You probably know them. Yeah.
Like you just drive by people all the time in a small little town.
Yeah.
They're like, what is that truck doing? And then they see it, like, and people come out, and so yes, I don't, kind of different vibe. Like everybody, knows what you're doing. Yeah, it's just a different vibe, I guess.
Okay. Let's say you're commissioned to put up a billboard, and this billboard is in the most trafficked area of Simi Valley. What ask of your community in regards to wastewater would you want to put on this billboard?
I guess, I remember Popular Mechanics a few years ago. I don't remember how many said that wastewater was the second most important job in the world, behind nurses, without clean drinking water and without controlling the wastewater, we have disease everywhere, right?
That is true.
So to me, it's just like a reminder that, like, what we do, it's not that a lot of times in the world, sewer has been, agencies always tried to be undercover, not be known. You don't want people mad at you or anything like that. So you just stay as quiet as you can be. But today, I think it's just letting you know how important we are. It's the opposite. Everybody's marketed themselves, and we kind of got left out in the distance.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I started the podcast was I feel like the unsung hero. Like enough of the times where these important jobs, these important careers and fields just go unnoticed. Like we know about tech because they promote it, talk about it. We know about like, I don't know, let's say the crypto industry, like who are the players in that? We know about real estate, like who are the players in that? Why can't we know about, wastewater collections, because again, like I say this all the time, the difference between a first world country and a third world country is public works. Like if you can get fresh water to people and wastewater from people and you can pave the roads, like you're a first world country. If you can't do that, you're a third world country.
Right.
So like, why aren't we talking about it more? But I get it. Like, you want to go a year without having a spill. But if you don't have any spill, you're not out in the street and you're not getting accolades for cleaning up the spill. So it's like you're under the radar. So I get both sides of it.
Yeah, or getting more money for something new and upcoming. It's like, well, you're maintaining so well before. It's like, yeah, but this will be even greater.
Isn't that crazy? It's like you need to have some adversity to be able to get a bigger budget to buy more stuff. So
right. I mean, like like a lot of places are nobody's happy when they go on a consent decree by the state water board, but all the employees are happy because now they're finally getting all the equipment that they needed for years that we're told no.
Yeah.
So, like so many of them have been happy, but that I don't know for sure. That's what I've been told.
Yeah.
I've never been on the consent decree. So
all right. I always like to leave a space on the show for you to thank mentors that you had along your journey. Then also I want you to give a word of inspiration and motivation to your fellow wastewater collection supervisors across the country.
All right. All right. So I guess first would be my dad, working with him as a kid through sports and just going to his work and so many different things that I learned from him, like just like little ones, like taking out the trash. I remember one time I was working for him, we were walking out and there was trash bags on the side and he's like, pick them up and take them to the dumpster. I'm like, oh, that's what the janitors are for. And he's like, oh no, you can assist and help out the janitors by just tossing it, And so I was like little things like that, right? So those are the things I learned, or just as a kid working working with your dad, the guys that work for your dad, and you have to work harder than all of them.
Right.
You can't let them talk smack about how your son was getting a free ride, right?
Yeah.
So there's on that, and then like when I went to Ojai Sanitary District, Jeff Palmer, he helped me a lot in guiding me through the sewer and the government and just working, and gave me lots of opportunities, and appreciating listening to him and what he's done. Helped me get to where I was. So so my dad, and then Jeff Palmer is more of a long-term work mentor.
Okay.
Help me out.
And then what do you say to those collection supervisors? They're in the trenches right now. They're fighting the same battles you're fighting. What do you say to keep them motivated, keep them inspired?
It's still a grind every day. Try to just keep going. You go through grit, right? Perseverance. That's what life is, and get up and keep going. Use that little Rocky motivation every when you need to, and get hit and get back up. Like grit shows and perseverance, and come out top at the end. So that's how I basically live my life in my mind, at least.
Sure. How often are you skateboarding, man? You get out there and shred it up a little bit?
Not anymore. I had a big injury, so. So not too much. I'm hoping to even just like snowboard this time, not this winter. It'll be 2 years of missed of snowboarding. So I'm hoping next season, but I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, because I injured my back, so I had back surgery and stuff like that. So
that's a good one to stop on. Yeah.
I'm hoping to move forward again, but yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Let's say I'm coming to town and I text you ahead of time. I say, Travis, where can I go to get the best burger in Simi Valley? Where are you going to send me?
I don't know if it's the best, but I'd say Green Acres. They have good burgers and barbecue as well. Some tri-tip sandwiches. So Green Acres and Simi Valley. Yeah, that's so far is the one that I enjoy, and a lot of the sales reps like going there.
Okay. Green Acres in Simi Valley. So if you're a sales rep and you want to take Travis out to lunch, you know where to take him.
Right. That's right. We have a good meeting.
Good stuff. Travis, thank you for hopping on the podcast and sharing your wealth of information and knowledge with us today. To all the listeners out there, make sure you share this with somebody who you think needs to hear it. Travis, any final words before we get out of here?
I just want to thank you for the opportunity, and
For sure.
hope, like the best for all of public works and sanitation and collection guys getting the recognition that they deserve.
For sure. All right, Travis. Well, this has been the Public Works Podcast, and thank you everybody for tuning in.